Hey, Read Through the Word. Today is July 4th. I was thinking back. I'll have to look. I think I was with y'all on 4th of July last year. Which, for those of you who are not in the United States, you're like, okay, it's just the 4th of July. I usually write down in my notes. I try to use the same Bible for Read Through the Word so I can mark it. And I thought let's see, where was I? I was on July 5th, so maybe not July 4th. Okay, so today is, in the United States, Independence Day. And so I just had to wear my shirt. Y'all know me in my t-shirt, so here's me a shirt. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And I got my earrings on. Okay, but today is, as the deer, this is our lesson. We are in Psalm 42, and it says, as the deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God. I thirst for God, the living God. And that's Psalm 42, verse 1 and 2a. Okay, so here we are. And goodness, let's talk about a few things. The deer, this is so, there's so many things. This is such an important psalm. If you are part of a liturgical tradition, and so you use the Book of Common Prayer, you read this psalm every month. I think it's the 8th day of the month that this psalm is read. And it reminds me so much. Now, if you go back, I know I keep referencing other lessons, but it reminds me of Jeremiah 2, which we're going to come up on soon, where it talks about God says that my people, this is what they've done wrong. They are are drinking water from broken cisterns when I've given them living water, and we went into all of that. So I want to talk about this idea of thirst here with the deer. Now, the deer knows, because God has given them instinct to go to moving water to quench thirst. Animals know they need to go to moving water because God has put that instinct in them to not go to stagnant water they could get sick from. So God gives that instinct to them. God has made us to know thirst as well. This is I had this, actually Wendy and I think we had this discussion the other week. And it's one of the things I think about all the time. God could have made us, humans, without the need for food or water. He's the creator. He could have made us in any way, but he didn't. He made us, I think about that with food all the time. And I've talked about this some in the Facebook group, but I've made some major changes since my cancer diagnosis to the way I eat. And it is one of the things now is I do a whole lot of chopping of fruits and vegetables now. And I think about, as I go to chop up whatever my food for the day is, that, this came from the ground that God gave seed and water and sunlight to, and that everything I put in me, God has given me. He's made us that way with water. Most of our body's salt water, actually, but most of our body is water. And if we're not, you can live, my kids could tell you the exact numbers. You can live a whole lot longer without food than you can live without water. God has made us to know thirst. Now, think about this. Now, sometimes I think about this when used to, until I became an adult, my mom, when she would go buy a car and stuff, she's like, how many cup holders does it have? And I think about that all the time. And I had a Sunday school teacher that say, there is such that God has taught us about himself through the word and the idea of thirst and of living water. And we talk about it with Jeremiah 2. We'll talk about it with woman at the well. There's this idea that God has purposely put in our bodies and in his word for us to look at. And I thought about this. Now, this is the perfect example. When I go to school in the mornings, now it's my summer break, so I've got summer cups. So, laugh at me, but my students are used to seeing this. Now, here comes Mrs. Nance for the morning. Now, this is my water cup. See, it looks like water. Now, it's making me thirsty. Here's my water cup. I've got water in here. That's it, water. So I can constantly be drinking water. So this is my water cup. Now, those of you who have been here long enough, here's my coffee. This is my coffee cup. So I've got my coffee in the morning when I come in. Now, I got something hot. I got something cold, my water, something hot. But then sometimes I want, I don't drink soft drinks. I'm a big fan of, we call it fizzy water. Everybody makes fun of me and my love for LaCroix, Waterloo, all the fizzy waters. So this cup right here usually has that fizzy water or that True Lime. There's this True Lime. They have like a black cherry limeade stuff that I like. It's made with more natural sweeteners. So I've got 3 cups. So like Mrs. Nance is coming in the morning with my school stuff and my cups. I know what thirst is like. See? We know what thirst is like. Look in your car, how many cups you got. Look around your house. If you've got kids, you got a cup on every flat surface in your house. I purposely did that. I bought my kids one of those stainless steel cups. They're only allowed to have water in it, and that's the only cup they get all day long, because I'm tired of cups. So we understand thirst. God has made us. Now I'm making myself thirsty. We understand this idea of thirst. God has made us to understand the thirst. That we find Psalm 63:1 says this. Psalm 143:6 says this. John 4:1 says it. John 7:37 through 39 says this. We see it everywhere. This idea of thirst and knowing living water that can come from that. And Jeremiah 2 does such a good job about God has offered us, and I talked about it yesterday, God's offered us an abundant life, but we're busy making mud pies in the slums. God has given us thirst, physical thirst for a reason. We need water to live. But do you know what thirst actually looks like? I Googled. So, this is how your body shows that it's thirsty. Brain fog. Like, when you can't think of words and you just can't think, it's right here, it just can't come out. It's because you're thirsty. Your body needs water. It doesn't need soft drinks. It doesn't need coffee. It needs water. If you're sluggish and you're just moving, you can't get up and get around, you need water. Do you crave snacks and sugar? Like, you just want to eat? You got my mom always called it the heebie-jeebies. You needed stuff. I feel like I just need something to eat. I just want something to eat. You know what that's a sign of? Thirst. Headache. Now, we usually don't have it. This is 4th of July, but let's see, a couple weeks ago, we all of a sudden in North Carolina, we hit like 100 degrees. Of course, it's the week my daughter has sports camp at church. And they had a sports camp. She was there 4 days, and like the hottest day of the year, there they are playing flag football and soccer, basketball and volleyball, and all of that. She left the morning with that cup I bought her, and I said, how much water? I made it before you go to bed, drink a couple glasses of water. When you get up in the morning, drink water, because she will come home with a headache and be crying and say, I need, she'll just say, I got a headache. And I said, you need to drink water. I'm like, you're dehydrated. Your body needs water. And anyway, so you get into that. And so she was fine the first day. She was fine the second day. She comes the third day. And, you get dizzy. You get lightheaded. All of that is thirst. That's what's going on. Because then what happens is it throws off your electrolytes in your body. Because your body has, magnesium's one of them. So I'm about to tell you. So she came home. She has a really bad headache. So I fixed her. Actually, I fixed her a big cup with some ice and some water in it. And then I said, go take a bath. And I put Epsom salts in her bath because Epsom salts is magnesium and it's an electrolyte and it absorbs through your skin in the bathtub. And so that will recover your electrolytes. It will get them on balance and water will come back again. I told you the nerdiness knows no ends. So she does all of that and she's like, I feel so much better. I said, you needed water. Okay, so we have that list and I know that about her. That she will get dehydrated quickly. And she has to keep on top. I send her every morning before she goes to school. She has a big water thing she takes with her. And I say, make sure we have one of those little water bottle filler thingies in the school. And I say, go get what, make sure you're keeping water. Drink so many of those a day. Because if you don't, you're going to get a headache. And then you're not going to feel good. And then you're like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Because that's what happens when you're thirsty. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after the living God. If I can Google and find out what does it look like when my body's thirsty, surely I can tell you that about my child. I can tell you that about myself. Like, I'm thirsty, I need something to drink, and I have certain signs, and you know what they are. You might have thought it meant you were hungry or there was something else. And it was probably thirst. You need water. So our bodies know that kind of thirst for water. There's a reason God has used that language with us about our relationship with Him. So if I can Google and find what are the top 10 signs that you need water. And find what are your signs that your soul is longing after God. Your thirst has not been quenched with living water. What are the signs? I mean, honestly, do you get irritable with the people around you if you've not spent enough time with the Lord? Do things bother you that might not bother you if you've not spent enough time with the Lord? If you've not been in the Word? If you've not been prayer? Mine is the things of the world bother me. Like, usually I'm good with knowing our world's crazy, knowing it's my job, but I can get bogged down easily when I'm spending too much time with that. One of the things I noticed was someone had suggested somebody for me to follow on a social media platform. And I quickly, after 2 days, deleted it because I can't handle that because it's taken my gaze off of the Lord and His plans. I'm getting too wrapped up in other things. I noticed it quickly in me. I was getting irritable. I was worrying about things that I typically don't do. And I'm like, oh, I've allowed, I picked up a Coke when I needed water. I don't drink soft drinks. But I was looking to social media as just something to flip through instead of spending time with the Lord. And so the reason we get thirsty is He's made us that way. And I think we're too quickly to realize that we need this than we are to know that we need this. There's a reason that is aligned and that word and that terminology is used so much in the Bible. Because God knows it's something we will recognize. And I'll pray that we can recognize it quickly and not go too long till we get dehydrated and the headaches show up. So, go to the source of living water. See you next time on Read Through the Word.